Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode. It is 2020 and many things have changed since, the crisis that we all love so dearly. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, so before I continue... Who are you?
Hallo, mijn naam is Hendrik.
Ja, zo. Spreek je ook Nederlands?
Ja, maar wat doe je hier precies? Lekker op vakantie in Korea, man.
Oké, tuurlijk. Maar weet je ook hoe je hier in Korea moet gedragen?
Nee.
Hoezo?
Nee.
Oké, dan wacht alsjeblieft daar totdat de video voorbij is. Ja? Oké. Okay, yeah, you can come back now. So I asked my subscribers if there's anything that they don't like that foreigners do when they come here and visit Korea. They came with a whole list. I collected all the points, and to be honest, when I saw those points I thought, Bart, you must have been a really bad foreigner many times here in Korea. Yeah. My sincere apologies.
Dat toch niet, man? Jezus.
Point number 1. Wearing a mask here in Korea. You might know by now that here in Korea people wear a mask, especially during the crisis. It's very normal. People don't look weird at you for wearing a mask. I know in many countries it's still not very common. In the Netherlands they still are discussing whether it's good or not to wear a mask, whether it's helpful or not. Before you come here, know that you are a guest in this country. Here it is expected of you to wear a mask.
Otherwise people will look at you not normal. 저 외국인.
Yeah.
역시 외국인.
You can ruin it for all the 외국ins. Suddenly, all the 외국ins don't wear a mask. Yo, mijn Bart.
Dit is Hendrik.
Hey, alles goed?
Alles goed met jou dan?
Ja, jongen, ja, met mij ook alles goed. Nou, maar ik ben druk nou, dus ik spreek je volgende keer. Yo, houdoe, doei.
Yo.
Shh. Sorry. Point number 2, being loud in public. Koreans are not really happy with very loud foreigners, especially not in the subway.
Yeah, usually when you speak in your mother tongue, it sounds really loud, but you don't really realize. So it's like,
I'm so aware of this. I always speak very quietly when I'm with you, but then suddenly my friends call me and I haven't talked to them in a long time. Like, yeah, and then you're like, Bart. Point number 3, eat your whole sam in a Korean barbecue restaurant. So you go to a Korean barbecue, you see a lot of side dishes around the barbecue. One of the side dishes is a plate with lettuce. So it's there for a reason. You use it to make a package of food. So you put a piece of meat on it, other side dishes, some spice, sauce, anything. You have to eat the whole thing at once. Otherwise, the Koreans at the table will be a little bit like...
because it's painful, because you cannot bite, especially meat is meaty, chewy, so you cannot bite at once. If you want to bite the sam, then you have to cut the meat, or not, then you eat just a little bit of vegetable or garlic, and then next bite you will get the meat. What's the point of make sam? It's not taco. It's not taco.
You can kill yourself. I remember the first time I was like this and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and I tried to eat the whole thing and I just couldn't breathe. I was like... Point number 4. Knowing a little bit of Korean is very much appreciated. Do you know the way to the city hall?
City hall? You have to go this way.
This way?
Yeah, that way.
Okay, thank you. 안녕하세요. Sorry, I don't speak Korean well, but city hall?
City hall?
어디?
Over there.
감사합니다. Thank you.
감사합니다. 좋은 하루 되세요.
In my opinion, no foreigner has to study Korean before they come to Korea. Of course, the Koreans, they do really appreciate it when you learn a few words. So you can try to learn hello, 안녕하세요, or thank you, 감사합니다.
I think it's just worldwide.
Point number 5, being too direct. But let me quickly go to the bathroom, okay?
Oh yeah. Hey, Hendrik.
Hey?
What do you think about my outfit?
I don't like it. I think you look too fat in it.
Fat? Fat?
Oh, that was necessary. So, being direct. Me as a Dutch have done this so many times wrong in Korea. Many times I was too direct or too honest in such a way that Koreans feel very, very uncomfortable. It's just not the way they do things or they say things here. They are using the indirect way. The way I understand it, they care a lot about how the other person feels. They don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. You know, as a foreigner, let's say Hendrik coming from the Netherlands to Korea, he's super confident and oh, I don't like this, and why do you look that, and why you do things like this, and blah blah blah. They probably feel that you are very rude and obnoxious and overconfident. It will not help you in building a good relationship with Koreans.
In Korea, complaining is not really a culture.
Don't bring that attitude to Korea, because it just doesn't work. Honestly, I have a really hard time with this.
Also, what do you think about my outfit?
I think it looks good. I don't think we can try to find something better. You look too fat in it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Will
I will
you
help
buy
you.
it?
Yeah, and I will buy it. Let's do it
Okay.
together. Point number 6. Speak formal or polite to other people. In Korea, they talk with honorifics unless you become very close friends, and then that all disappears a little bit. Now, as a foreigner, you definitely get the foreigner pass for this. When you come to Korea, nobody will expect from you to know how to address somebody.
Yeah.
Don't address somebody with its first name.
Oh, there's
Or
always a
Mr.
title.
Mrs.
뭐뭐 선생님 or 사장님 or 뭐뭐 씨.
바트 씨, 안녕하십니까?
When I talk to your parents, my parents hello, I always say like to nod, you know, in the Netherlands like yes, yes. But in Korea, is the informal way of saying yes. And yes, you can say by saying nah or yeah.
네, 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 네.
오빠. 바토프 너무 멋있다.
Okay, point number 7. In Korea, younger girls say to an
Oppa?
older man, oppa. So oppa, let's talk about oppa.
So because of K-drama and K-music.
Young girls come to Korea and they apparently think it's very normal to say oppa to any man. I didn't know about this, but apparently the men are feeling uncomfortable with that.
They can be uncomfortable
Why?
because if you meet the person for the first time, then it's better to say with the title like 뭐뭐 씨 or 뭐뭐.
바트 씨, 안녕하십니까?
Just if you get some like relationship a little bit later, then you can change like oppa. As a Korean woman, I don't like to call oppa that easily because it's just very informal and it's like I feel a little bit like down.
Personally, I don't like it when you call me oppa.
왜?
Oh, 몰라.
싫어?
저-
오빠.
하지마. 내가 네 오빠야. Point number 8. Physical affection in public space. Yeah. I must say, since 7 years ago that I came to Korea, many things have changed, but Korea today is still quite a conservative country. Public affection, physical contact, like kissing, hardcore on the street, it's not appreciated. They don't like that. Of course, just walking hand in hand, I guess, giving a kiss on the street, it's okay, but don't overdo it. It's still Korea. Okay, Korea, you can come back now, but don't do this again, okay? Point number 10. Talking about the history with Japan, China or North Korea. You might have seen North Korea in the news a lot of times. Rockets, Kim Jong-un. You might have heard something about fights between Japan and Korea. The recent fights, the boycott. Be careful with expressing your opinion about it when you talk to a Korean. For them, it's still
Current issue. Especially like Japan, Korea, China. It's really complicated, like really complicated.
point number 10.
Then,
Very simple one. If you come to Korea, here it's very polite to give things with 2 hands.
when you give a card, just like 이렇게.
Make sure you're not like throwing one hand to the other person if you give something. Also, when you receive something, you also use 2 hands.
But I remember when I was in Netherlands, I also had to really care that I don't give two hands.
Yeah, I've seen her in the Netherlands.
It's just my habit, you know?
But you're not the only one. When I came back to the Netherlands, it became so much my habit that every time I pay, I'm like giving it with 2 hands. But that's not all. That's not all. The worst part is that I bow my head. Thank you. Point number 11. I wish I had another finger. Thank you. So I can speak only for the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, it's quite common that when you go to, we don't call it a coffee shop, a cafe, and you finish drinking your coffee, you can just go out because you paid already. Usually, like the service includes that they give it to you at the table, the cup, and they also pick it up when you finish. In Korea, you usually pick up your own cup at the desk, and when you finish, you make sure you
Put it back.
deposit the trash and you put it back. You give it back to them. Number 12, car is king. The car is really king here. You have no rights as a pedestrian, no matter whether it's a traffic light or
What makes me really
crossing.
concerned, because he's really risking his life, you
Yeah.
know, because he wants to get the right of as a
pedestrian. Sometimes there's this pedestrian crossing, like in the Netherlands we call it zebra path, the white stripes. In the Netherlands it means that as pedestrian you can go first. Car should wait. In Korea it doesn't mean shit.
yeah. Unless you really get close, the car almost like hit you, then they will stop.
Red, tango, yes. See? I'm vlogging. So there were 2 cars driving through red light and we had green. And this is what happens all the time.
So I told Bart so many times that in Korea, you have to take 3 seconds before even the green
Traffic
light
light.
and make sure that it's safe. But he just like, ooh, I want to win the cars.
We're almost there. Point number 13, respect the elderly. Korea is still a very Confucian country, which means that they respect the hierarchy. So the elderly are, I guess, somewhere at the top. When you're interacting with an older person, especially when they are very old, respect them in any way possible.
Already, you know, normal relationship. We respect other people very, very much. But imagine that we have to respect more to elder people. Then from the Western eye, it can look really too much. You know, like,
Yeah, it does sometimes. Yeah.
That's why from our eyes, how they treat the elder people looks really okay, it's still too rude.
Okay. Finally, we came to the last point. Number 14. This one is so weird. Seriously, when I was reading this, like, so that's becoming a thing in Korea now. Foreigners begging on the street for money? Like seriously, what the fuck? Now I've seen it twice on the streets. First time I didn't know what it was, second time I didn't know what it was, and then the third time it's like, wow shit, he's begging for money to travel.
It was a thing in Southeast, you know, Asia.
Yeah, but there it also doesn't make sense.
Yeah, of
That's-
course. Why do you have to give money for their trip?
I don't know what their personal situation is. Maybe it's very sad and I'm sorry, but if you're begging just to get money. So that's it. If you made it until here, I really appreciate it. I guess there are many more points that I didn't mention. If you know any more, then please let me know in the comments below. If you agree or don't agree with some of them, just also let me know. I guess I'm gonna say goodbye now. So thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Hadu! Hey!
No
1 minute.
right now, right here, laying down, living slow, 'cause I know